Perfect. So thank you, Sabrina, for coming back today.
Thank you very much, Jessica, for having me. Welcome, everyone. So today I'm just gonna dive right in. We're gonna talk about boosting posts and paid social media ads. Can kind of be a little bit of a mystery to a lot of people. So just gonna kind of go through, talk about it at a high level, and then we'll kind of get in deep to it. Feel free to stop me anytime, put questions in the chat. Jessica will be watching those as well. Okay, so as Jessica mentioned, my name is Sabrina. I'm the founder of Grace. It is a brand consulting company, and I like to push traditional marketing boundaries. I am a boy mama. It's one of my greatest accolades. I've got 2 boys, 15 and 9. Things that I can't live without, just a little bit about me, are chocolate and nachos. I consider them food groups, actually, and they are meal substitutes as well. I have a marketing degree from the U of S, and one of my greatest passions is helping to propel other businesses forward. I get the greatest joy out of helping tell the world about other people's businesses. So today we're going to talk about the difference between organic posts, boosting posts, and paid ads, because there's a difference between all 3 of those. And then I'm going to walk you through 10 steps to create paid social ads, whether that's boosting or the paid ads. Okay, so difference between organic and paid ads. So organic is just when you're posting social media posts, whether it's to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever platforms you use. And it's mostly for that brand recognition. It's to engage with your audience. It's to maintain that consistent online presence in all of those areas. And it's free. So you don't have to pay for any of those platforms unless you have like a LinkedIn premium account and things like that. But you don't actually have to pay to post on any of those platforms. And then paid ads is kind of where you go into where you're wanting brand growth. So you're up-leveling your business. You're at a point where you're like, okay, I need to get a further reach now. And it's when you start building targeted campaigns and you have a larger budget, because as we will dive into, it takes quite a bit of money to put towards the paid ads. So then boosting, again, it's very similar to the organic. It's like a combination of the organic and the paid ads. So it is still focused on brand awareness and growth. And then it's for, you take an organic post and you repurpose it. So you don't have to create another campaign. You're just taking posts that you've already done and you're just giving them a little boost so that you get a more targeted reach. And it's for a smaller budget. So if you just want to kind of test it out, see where it's at, see if there's a post that you've gotten a lot of engagement on already, take that and then just see what happens. You can start to target different audiences and then take that and test it out. It's a great way to ease into paid ads, just to kind of see who your market is and where your ads perform the best and what ads, what designs and all of that perform the best. And then again, the paid ads are for brand growth. You do specific targeted campaigns and that larger budget. So I just wanted to touch on, I always like to talk about brand just because it's a passion of mine, but then also to understand that your brand is super important and the brand strategy before doing any advertising, whether it's online, in print, anywhere. So your brand is who you are as a business, not just the products or services that you offer. It's how you make people feel. It's the relationships with the clients and the people behind the scenes in your company, whether that's just you, might be just yourself, or it can be your employees as well. It's the people that are in your business. And then the overall vibe of your business. Is it kind of fun and lighthearted? Is it a little more professional, a little bit more, I don't know if rigid is the right word, but what is the vibe? And then the values that your business embodies. So what you stand for. your uniqueness. What makes you different than all of the other companies that may do a similar type of product or service out there? What makes you unique? And then your reputation, what and how you are known. So being clear about who you are, what you stand for, and why people should come to you is ultimately your brand. This should be weaved into every ad, whether it's organic or paid. Okay, so 10 steps to create paid social ads. So we're going to go through, these are the 10 steps. So we're going to talk about objective, your audience, the different platforms, targeting, retargeting tools, the ad formats, campaign content, budget, and then going into creating and implementing, and then analyzing afterwards. Okay, so first is the objective. So there are 3 basic stages that customers are at in their purchasing journey. So, and this is at a really broad level. So there's the awareness, consideration, and then the conversion. So depending on where they are in their, it's basically like a purchasing funnel. They're maybe just becoming aware of your business. They're maybe at the consideration stage where they're kind of on the fence. They've maybe been following your account for a while, and they're just deciding whether they want to work with you or purchase your products. And then there's the conversion. So they are ready to go. You can catch them with those call to actions. So with awareness, you're looking at those organic posts are what is best for awareness. So you're looking at the views and impressions that are happening on those posts. And then for consideration, you're looking at the relationship building and engagement. So you're trying to get that interaction with the posts, getting people to comment, to like. So that's another step away from just brand awareness. And then in the conversion, you're actually getting right to the calls to action. You're getting them with things like contact us, buy now, sign up here. So really direct calls to actions. Okay, the second one is identifying your audience. So you really want to narrow down your target audience as much as you're able to. You're able to be smarter with your ad budget when you know who you're exactly targeting. So you can get really detailed and create, you've maybe seen some of these before, but you can create an actual persona. So you can name a person. So one I did was, okay, we've got Kate, she's age 21. She's a university student. She works part-time at a clothing store, has a modern, simplistic style. Some of her problems or challenges is that she likes new trends, but does not have a lot of money while in school. So an example that you could do is you could target lower end price products. So maybe you sell lower end clothing, or you can target ads to showcase like a flip side of buying one piece that's an investment and smarter in the long run. So knowing who you're targeting and what their challenges are, you can really speak to that and have your ads targeted to that audience. And then, okay, so there are lots of different social platforms. We'll talk about the main kind of 7 here that are the top ones. So Facebook is the most diverse and widely used platform. Generally, the demographic is in the 40 plus age range. That seems to be kind of the platform of choice of that age demographic. And then Instagram is usually between, it's a fairly wide age range, but between 18 and 40. So it's mostly consumed on mobile. And it's great for like a lot of image promotion, some video. Video is a little bit limited on the length on Instagram, but there's video, reels, stories that you can do on there. And then LinkedIn would be more of your senior level professionals. I was surprised to see this statistic that majority are males, age 35 plus. I wouldn't have thought that, but yeah, that seemed to be what I came across. And Twitter is mostly for daily consumption, so really important with the hashtags, real-time, relevant content, news type of thing, and it's limited on the word count, so you can't get too wordy on there. It's just quick information that you're putting out there. And then TikTok, again, it's similar demographic to Instagram, maybe a bit younger. It definitely started off targeting the really young, like teenage population, but now has grown, and now it really rivals Instagram. And then Pinterest. So Pinterest is largely women that are on Pinterest. So and this is a larger age range, so between 18 and about 60 or even higher than that, typically showcasing craft and design type things, but has diversified into business promotion as well, which it's great because if your business has women as a target audience, then you should definitely be promoting on Pinterest as well. And then YouTube. So it's a large age range demographic of men, women, kids. It's used for video consumption, great for how-to videos or a series, your knowledge sharing and brand awareness. Any questions on those platforms at all? I think you're all pretty familiar with them. Okay, so I want to get into targeting. So once you've decided that you want to do paid advertising, you're going to go into the different ad managers, depending on the platform, and they're going to start to ask you specific questions about who you want to target. So they're going to ask, you can really get specific on the gender, age, location. Every platform is a little bit different on how deep and granular you can go with those. But you're going to take that the persona that you made, and you're going to be able to now dive even deeper with your ads and really target them. So that's one of the biggest features of doing paid advertising. Whereas when you're doing organic, you're just putting it out there and you're hoping that it reaches the right people. And then there's retargeting tools. So not a lot of people are aware that these exist. So they are in behind the scenes. So there are things like Facebook or LinkedIn tracking pixels. There's LinkedIn Insight tags, and there's Google Analytics tracking. So retargeting helps you take the analytics from what happens in your first set of ads. So it will track those pixels, and anybody that clicked on those ads from the first campaign, you can then go back and retarget those exact same Facebook profiles or LinkedIn profiles. So you have a greater chance at then getting the people that are very, very interested. They've clicked once, they've shown some interest, so then you can retarget them again. So that's why consecutive, so building into your ad budget to not just do it once, but then do follow-up targeting as well, and making sure that you have these tools all in place prior to, so that you can take advantage of the retargeting. You don't want to just do it one set of ads and then realize after that, oh, I could have done, something with that retargeting, because you're nurturing those people. They may see you for the first time, and then they click through, and then, oh, they got sent another ad, and then they'll click through again, getting them even closer to making that purchase decision. There are tons of YouTube videos to help you with setting up those pixel sets and the tracking. I just wanted to mention a couple local companies. So if you get stuck or are feeling overwhelmed by doing all the research and all the diving into doing this and setting it up from start to finish, there are a couple local companies. One is called Open Sale, and another one called Blue Moose Media. I'm sure there are others as well, but they are a couple that I know and that I've worked with that really dive into the targeted ad campaigns. And of course, then you're paying on top of the cost per click with each of the ads. You're also paying their setup fees and creative fees and all of that. So just a heads up on that as well. So sometimes it may be worth checking out the YouTube videos and kind of just seeing how it works on your own. And so the retargeting is really when you're thinking that your phone is listening to you, or you're like, wow, it's like these ads are just speaking right to me and being directly sent to me. That's what's happening in behind the scenes. That's retargeting at its finest. There's also something called lookalike audience. So what can be done is they'll look at the profiles of the people that have clicked on your ads, and they will find similar profiles. So similar age, similar demographics, similar likes and interests. So all of that is being tracked by Google, by Facebook. So whether you're on board with that or not, they are doing it regardless. So sometimes it can be a moral and ethical decision on whether you want to do paid advertising as well. But I'm just telling you that the features are out there. Any questions on that? Sometimes that can be a little bit of a different concept to wrap your head around. We can circle back to. Okay, so then you want to choose your ad formats. So you can have a static image, a carousel with a bunch of images to scroll through. It can be a product focused ad format. It can be a collection, so there can be a bunch of different products or services that you're offering. It can be interactive. There can be a lead form, so whether they're filling out maybe a survey or a questionnaire of some sort. And then there can be video, and then of course just a text-based ad format as well. And then you're going to go into your campaign content. So this involves all of the previous 6 steps. And then you're going to get right into, so you're going to dive into that objective. What are you setting out to achieve, your audience, in combination with the platforms and your ad format. And then you're going to start to craft that copy, the tone. This largely comes from your brand. And then also who you're speaking to. So that's where the audience really comes into play. And then you're going to choose the photos and the graphics, or maybe it's video that you're creating. And then you want to think long-term. So is this just a one-off campaign that you're doing? Is it a long-term thing? Is it a series? Is it one particular kind of really targeted campaign that you want to run multiple times? So deciding on the frequency and the distribution and all of that. And then we get to budget. So this is where paid ads can really start to add up, and you really want to think this one through. So there can be a minimum amount that you set, and it can be set per day, per click, or per impression. So really want to look at how much are you willing to spend, and then you can set those minimums, and then you can also set a maximum so that it doesn't go above a certain amount. So you're not surprised with this gigantic ad bill. Mind you, that usually means that a lot of people were clicking on it, but it may not be your target audience if things haven't been set up properly or in the right way. So you just want to make sure that you're really, really knowledgeable about how to set all of these pieces up. I'm giving you a pretty high level run through of it today, but you want to know each of those little granular steps that you're taking, because it all affects the budget in the end. And then there's some things along the way that you can set, like a lifetime budget that will never go above a certain amount. You can set a strategy. So you can set like lowest cost. There's different options in there. And then you're going to want to really be detailed with your campaign titles, your ad sets, your ad titles specifically. depending on how complex you want to go with your campaign, you want to make sure that they're all named properly so that when it comes to maybe repurposing them again or the analytics, you want to see those titles so that you can actually go, oh, okay, this one performed really well. This on Instagram did great, but this one on Facebook didn't do as well. So then that can give you a lot of insight into maybe the platform that you want to choose, or the effectiveness of the different graphics. Maybe the video performed better. You want to be able to look and go, oh, okay, that was that ad that I did about, you know, a certain product or a certain service that you were doing. And then you want to dive into creating and implementing. So there are, as I mentioned before, there are different ad managers to use in behind the scenes of all the different platforms. So as far as I know, and there may be something out there, so I use a scheduling platform for my organic posts, but I don't know of a scheduling platform out there aside from the bigger companies that do it on your behalf to schedule and set up all of your paid ads. So I think if you're doing it yourself, you have to go into each individual, like LinkedIn ad manager, Facebook ad manager, Instagram ad manager, and set all of those platforms up individually. And you want to get creative with your content. Really think through all of those elements that we just talked about, and create fun graphics that really reflect you and your brand, and tell stories so that you can really relate to your audience and get them to understand who you are, what you're about, what you believe in, and that's going to really pull them in. And then, of course, you want to analyze. So you don't want to just toss an ad out there and then not look at its effectiveness. If you're investing in paid advertising, you want to make sure that you're looking at those analytics very closely. So there are lots of factors that can influence the success of ads. So there's seasonality, world events, time of the day. There could be competition entering and exiting the market. You want to look at how effective your creative is. So like I mentioned, whether it's a static post, a text post, a video, how they're performing. And then you're going to want to look at social network changes, which are constantly changing. It's hard to keep up with all the different algorithms and things that they're doing on a almost what seems like hourly basis. And then you're going to look at different audiences and targeting, and then of course your budget. So maybe you've spent a little bit more on the Facebook ads and they've performed well, but maybe a little bit less on Instagram. So you just want to look at all of those different things. And these things, they affect the fluctuation in your perceived cost per click or any other metrics that you're watching for those specific results. Okay, and then on the analyze portion, I just wanted to go into, again, I wanted to reiterate on, deciding on paid ads. So in my perspective, what it comes down to is where you're at in your business. So if you're in the growth stage, or actually in the beginning stages of your business, you're just getting started, you're really creating that brand awareness, I would steer you away from any ad spend whatsoever. It's too early. You're just really focusing on getting your name out there. It can be very tempting, and I caution, because you want to keep in mind that Facebook, Instagram, Facebook and Instagram are affiliated, but they're a business and they're making money just like all of us are trying to make money. And so they want you to spend money on their platforms. So they're going to make it look very, very appealing to continue to spend that money. And if not done properly with these steps in mind and really going through and making sure that you're doing it with purpose, you can spend a ton of money and not get any return out of it. So just analyzing where you're at in your business, and then also looking at, okay, maybe now you're at a growth stage where you're wanting to maybe expand into a different market or expand your reach. So maybe, you know, you've got a really great local market, but now you kind of want to go outside of maybe Saskatoon or into further in Saskatchewan, or maybe even national. So then you want to look at that plays into your strategy as well. So then you would be choosing specific locations for those paid ads. And then, yeah, keeping in mind that it can be quite costly to do this. But I talked to one company a while ago that they gave a really great, of course, they were pitching to me, but they gave a really good analogy that the best way to figure out your paid advertising is to, if you've got the budget, to just dive in, because you will get and then have those analytics after to go, oh, okay, this really worked, that didn't. And just to really kind of jump in with both feet with it and then figure it out from there. Because you don't really know sometimes what is going to appeal to people the best. It's a little bit like Russian roulette, I guess, like just kind of trying different things and seeing what works. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, so I just wanted to chat about my services. So you can feel a little bit like, okay, what do I do now? So there can be so many options and directions that you can go, especially in the digital world, and it can be very overwhelming. And I totally get that. There's all the different platforms, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, there's funnels, there's email newsletters, Facebook, paid ads, search engine optimization, all the algorithms to keep on top of, the new algorithms that are now out of date since last week. Then there's reels and posts and stories. And do I add music, and do I add GIFs and hashtags? And what about the likes and the followers? And then there's your website that hasn't been built or is very outdated. There can just be a lot. So sometimes it's nice to have someone come alongside and decipher some of that. You could be sitting there going, I don't know how to do this. I don't have any ideas of, maybe you know how, but then you're maybe lost on the creative end of it, unsure where to start, not sure how to properly implement. So I have a marketing degree. I'm educated in all the complex strategies, but my advice is to keep your backpack small. My whole mantra is to keep things simple and sustainable. So you don't want to dive into something that you can't keep up with and that is beyond your ability to control and to keep up with. And of course, you want to make sure that it's effective. And my main focus is that people need to know how great you and your business are, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself in doing that in the process. As I mentioned, I like to keep things both simple and sustainable. And I will remind you that you are your greatest marketing asset. It's your best light that is only truly yours, that needs to radiate instead of the how and the what of your business. There is only one you and always will be. So that's why it is, you are your greatest marketing asset. So my program can help your brand be aligned, your sales take off, your business will thrive from being that authentic, real, and sometimes vulnerable, and you implement that simple and sustainable plan. Again, your best light is shone forward. It's the effectiveness of drawing in your ideal clients. We talk about growth strategies, and we talk about fulfillment and feeling proud. And you want to, at the end of it, no matter what you're doing, organic, paid, boosting, posts, you want to make sure that you feel proud of what you're doing. And if you're still not sure about where you're at, what a brand strategy and a rebrand can do, I'd love to chat and we can see how we can determine what your vision is for your business and restore that confidence in your marketing. So I have a couple different programs. So I have a Brand You Marketing Toolkit. And I also offer a brand new marketing management. So then I would stay on top of some of the implementation of your social accounts. Also, I do the email strategies and stuff like that as well. My tagline is between good and great, there's grace. And I love coffee and would love to meet each one of you. So don't hesitate to reach out anytime. Even if you have a quick question, if you, after the webinar today, you're like, what was that she said about boosting posts, and why did we need to go through all those steps, and what were those steps again? I'd love to chat. And thank you. It was nice having all of you come and take time out of your day today to listen in. And I'd love, if you've got any questions, just shoot them my way, either in the chat, pop your microphone on and we can talk through them, or send me an email outside of the webinar today. That was a lot in a short amount of time. It's like fire hose. And there's so much more that we can get into on it. I just didn't want to overwhelm with too many things. But I'd love to know your questions if you've got specifics.
Quiet group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sabrina and I were talking last week about this, and we were talking about, you know, is it beneficial to be putting dollars into marketing like this, boosting posts when you're so new? And the truth is, well, we were just chatting about it, and the truth is that if you can be investing in your clients that you have and your audience that you have and massaging those relationships, you're likely going to see more growth naturally than paying to promote your business through a social media channel.
Yeah.
And so it was just interesting that, yes, there's definitely benefits to having online presence for sure. But yes, just, you know, being vulnerable and engaging with the people who know your why and like your why and follow you because of those is quite powerful as well. We have a question. Can you discuss special ad categories and the limitations of targeting due to those categories?
Oh, what categories in particular?
Shelley, can you elaborate a little bit for us? You could open up your mic if you would like. So
Maybe just read it again. Maybe I can.
Sure. Can you discuss special ad categories and the limitations of targeting due to those categories? She said, so our business sells lots and we have to select housing special ad category. Sorry, my mouse is acting weird here. So I'd rather, she'd rather type. Okay, yeah. So our business sells a lot and we have to select housing special ad category. So what she's probably saying is sometimes your business doesn't fit within the constraints of those special ad categories.
Okay, so this would be a huge caution that this is why it looks like they promise the world and then they make you fit into these boxes that might be too broad or might not be narrow enough for the market that you have. And so I don't know a ton about, like, if you choose that, then you choose some other like finer, more granular targeting. If that broad category that you're lumped into off the start will already take you down a place where it's not your ideal client. I can't really speak to that too much, but that is definitely a caution area when you're doing this type of advertising, because you don't know for sure. And especially if they make you go into that off the start, then it could be targeting people that you don't necessarily want. And that's, so when you look at, like, if one of your objectives is to try and grow your following, for example, then you could do all these targeted campaigns and maybe you miss in some fashion, or the platform promised you a certain amount, or however a path that you go down, and you could end up with all of these followers, and it can feel really good and it can feed the ego that, oh wow, I just grew, but they might not be, you could have, maybe it triples, maybe you went from 1,000 to 3,000 followers, but those 2,000 extra are now not your ideal client. So you were actually better off nurturing those first 1,000 than you are to get those additional ones that just might be not anywhere close to your target.
Hi, it's Shelly. Sorry, I've got a scratchy throat. I just wanted to throw some words in there. So we sell lake properties, and when we do ads, we have to select the housing category, or it won't put our ad through. So when we do that, it removes the option to select an age demographic. We have to use the full 18 to 65 plus. I'm sorry. And we can't select specific interests, like we want to target people that like camping and boating and fishing, but we can't select those options. And so it just limits what we're allowed to target for those ads, unfortunately. So it may throw our ads out there to 100 people that have absolutely no interest in what we're offering. So that's just one of the downsides that we find.
For sure. Yep. And that is just the nature of some of the platforms that really don't allow you to get down. Now, that would be not to promote, other businesses and stuff that do it, but they find ways around that, and they are so proficient in that they might know a little workaround, or another platform that you might be better served on. There's so many little intricacies. Like, basically you have to be like a paid ads specialist, which some of those bigger companies have many people that are paid ad specialists that can dive right into that. So yeah, unfortunately, you're limited by the platform in those cases. But great question, because that is a good thing to be aware of, because I worry. I was telling Jessica this, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep my bias out of my presentation today, because I feel really worried for new business owners that it looks like this giant promise of like, oh, I can just, spend this money and I will get all of these customers like immediately. And it seems like that would be the case, but unless you know what you're doing and have a really clear plan going into it, and have that ad manager set up appropriately, you could be spending a lot of money and just wasting your dollars. And it's a bit risky. Like, you don't know, all of those factors that I mentioned in the analytics portion could play in, and you could have the best ad, you could have done all of the things right, and then all of a sudden it just hits at the wrong time, or it's the wrong season, or there's like fluctuations in the market that are beyond your control. That it's kind of like farming and the weather. Like, you can put the seed in, but then Mother Nature takes over. So yeah.
You tell me, on Facebook, if you share or if you make a post, it'll say for $25 you can get 2,000 people or 6 people. Like,
yeah.
If you do the ad wrong, that it would say only 6 people.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it usually is. Like, I think you can set the ad budget on those as well. So that would be a boosting. So that would take one of your posts that you've already done, and then you can pay to have it boosted. And it will usually let you select and get targeted with that as well. So you can choose different demographics and kind of target those ads a little bit finer. But I'm not sure why it would say.
But it said you can reach up to 6 more people. Are you kidding me?
Okay. And did it give
on one later down, it said you can reach 2,080 people for 25.
Okay. And was
So
the
I'm like,
pricing,
it was boosting. I didn't do it. Just thought it was like, was there something with the ad that wasn't right? Like it was just sharing a post about an event.
okay.
So I just thought that was weird. Usually it says more than that, but I've seen a few lately that say reach up to 6 people for $25. Well, I'm not stupid.
Yeah. I think they're probably putting like a guaranteed amount that for sure you're gonna hit 6 people to try and hook you in. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's usually based on the price. So the more you spend, the more that
Or
they'll
you,
put out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they run it through all of their like intricate channels and try to get you
Yeah.
like they ultimately, like I shouldn't smack talk too much, but they ultimately are trying to get you your content in front of the right people that benefits their platform,
Right.
people spending more money ultimately. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of hoops to go through and ways. And then even sometimes you're relying on them tracking all the analytics properly. So you're
Right.
relying on that being like, and no system is foolproof, right? Like there could be fake Facebook profiles out there. There could be, yeah, there could be like it may land in a where it's not your target audience at all. I'm working with a company right now that they're in the ag industry and they work in Australia quite a bit. And they just did targeted ad campaign in Australia through Twitter and it completely flopped. Like you could see like the responses coming back and there was like angry people going like, I live in a like urban area in an apartment. I really don't think I need this information about combine parts and stuff, right? Like it's so it can completely flop too, and that's with a like reputable company managing it. So yeah, it's so risky,
Yeah.
but not impossible. Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes it can be a fun way of like playing to see what can be done with your organic posts too. And you can kind of get that analytics and go, oh, hey, this actually reached, these people and actually performed really well. But you can also look at just the analytics of your organic posts and get that same information too. And you'll see which ones perform better by the impressions or the click-throughs or of course the likes never are like a perfect indication of whether your post is performing well. I always like to use me as an example when I get a few minutes to be on social media, which is few and far between when I'm between driving my boys all their different places, but I will do the common Instagram little scroll. I will have to make a really conscious effort to stop and to like. And it's like a really amazing day if I actually get a chance to comment. But that does not mean I have like legitimately liked a ton of stuff that I've saw, tons of brand awareness that's happening. Like, oh, I didn't know that company had just started up, or oh, okay. I'm taking in all the information, but have I actually clicked the like? No. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Lately, I see that like all the likes and the clicks and things are hidden from me.
Mm.
Have you noticed that? Like it won't show up how many people liked it, or then you have to click on something else to see.
See it. Oh, I wonder if that's just a setting in your profile, because some people do that mostly for their own mental health. Actually, they don't want to be constantly looking and checking and, oh, did they like it? And have that be reflective of whether or not it was a good post or that they should do it. They actually don't want to see that information at all because it affects them quite severely. I've got a friend that she hates seeing anything like that because she thinks, oh, if something only got X amount of likes, she thinks it's a failure. So that could be just a setting that you have that's just turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've only recently seen it.
Okay. And which platform is that on?
on Facebook. Like it says, so many people liked, but it doesn't show. It used to say how many it reached and how many clicked through.
Oh, okay. You probably have to go in maybe a level deeper to see those analytics. It's probably just in the back end. Yeah,
Okay, I'll look around and see what I can find.
Mhm.
sounds good.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for Sabrina before we log off for today?
Where is everybody from? Is everyone from Saskatoon? Or surrounding areas? You can just type it into the chat even. I'm just always curious where people
So
are.
Lorraine says Humboldt. I know
Oh.
Vicky is in North Battleford.
Okay. And what
And
type
Carrie is in Tisdale. Sorry.
Okay. I would love to know also your businesses, what each of you do, if you could type that into the chat as well.
Wendy's from Humboldt, she said as well.
Okay.
And Shelley's in Saskatoon. Wendy has House of Stitches, fabric and yarn.
Okay.
And Vicky works with Northwest Community Futures in North Battleford.
Okay.
And Shelley has Sunset Beach at Lake Diefenbaker. So those would be the recreational land development, Sunset Beach at Land Diefenbaker, cabin and RV. And sorry, that was Lorraine. And that seems to be what I have.
Great.
It's perfect. So just so you know, I'm just going to read this one last thing. Also, Prairie Sky Collective, a new co-working collective in Humboldt. So that was Lorraine saying that. You're busy. So there's going to be a survey that pops up right in Zoom when we close this meeting, and we would greatly appreciate if you just take a few minutes and complete that. We are working on our 2023-2024 calendar for the year of virtual training. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, that would be great. Shameless plugs are fine. They're all good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm trying to think of who. Yes. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm trying to think of who else it is that I know at the is it Prairie Sky Collective? Yeah.
Prairie Sky Collective. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's a designer, interior designer. I cannot think of her name now. It's just completely left me. But yeah, so I keep hearing really great things about Prairie Sky.
Grit and Gertie.
Grit and Gertie. Yes.
Grit
Thank you.
Yes. Such a good name.
Isn't
she was
it?
actually on the group. There was a group of women from Humboldt, from the co-working space, one of our previous sessions with Tammy when she did one about branding or no, going live. That's what it was.
Okay.
They were part of that.
Good. Good.
Jillian is part of the Well Women, right? Yes. Maybe you know her from this.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I do.
Good. Well, thank you, ladies. And we are, back in February with a GST workshop, which is handy to have. And then we're moving into some video content creation for March. So have a look at our social media and register for the upcoming sessions.
Great.